class. We're going to get rolling here. Hey, I want to thank you for coming in tonight. We're going to have a good class. I'm going to take a little different format tonight than what I normally do. What I like to do, I sent an email out today that we're going to do some collar grabs. Somebody comes up and grabs your collar, maybe a single-handed grab, two-handed grab, whichever one. And I want to show you how to get out of that if you need to. Or number one, how to not get in it, okay? People always come up to me, or they know I'm a martial artist. They say, what do you do if somebody grabs you like this or gets a hold of you like that? I always look at them and say, the number one rule is don't let anybody get you like that. So that's important. You know, don't get that way. One of the things I always teach people about self-defense is maintaining a defensive mindset. And to do that, you got to always maintain the integrity of your personal safety zone, okay? Everyone has a personal safety zone around them. And what it is, you got about 6 feet around you where no one can touch you or physically grab you, kick you, punch you, or do anything like that. For them to harm you, they have to get closer to you. So what we want to do is maintain that integrity of that safety zone. And we don't want to let them get inside that. Now, if they infringe on that safety zone and penetrate that zone, then obviously we need to get our hands up and get in our position. If you are coming toward me and you're in my zone, I'm going to put my hands up, my elbows in, my hands up like this, so that I can let you know, back up, because I don't want any problems, okay? This is the back off stance here, okay? So here we are. We got our hands up. We're showing you we have no weapon. Elbows in, protecting our body. We're in a position where we can strike, elbow, kick if we need to, but we got our hands up. That's the main thing. And they're near our face too as well to protect. So that's important. If you drop back like this, what do you think the attacker is going to say? Yeah, I want to fight. So they're going to come in like that, all right? So let's do this. Stephen, come on out here. What I'd like to do is discuss a couple of simple wrist grabs, wrist locks, joint manipulations that we could do, or just how to stop this. So let's say Stephen comes up. Number one rule, don't let anyone grab you. Okay, if you're in a self-defense situation, man, reach over your right hand, please. He reaches up to grab you. Don't let him get a hold of your collar, because then you're in a mess. Okay, now he's going to draw back with his hand and try to punch you. So we don't want that to happen. So let go, please. So if he reaches up to grab, number one thing, I'm going to push that hand away, and I'm going to back up, and now I'm maintaining the integrity of my safety zone. See, from this distance, he can't reach me. I know he can't. I can't reach him either, okay? However, if I step in a step, then he can touch me and I can touch him. And vice versa. If he steps in a step, then he can touch me and I can touch him. So I need to back out again, maintain that integrity of that safety zone. So never let anybody get in that safety zone, and never let anybody grab you, physically manhandling you. I tell kids in class, you let people call you names or tell you this, tell you that, or be real ugly verbally to you, but never let anybody put their hands on you. And that's what we're dealing with here, okay? So if he reaches up to grab me, either hand, I want to back up, push it away, and put my hands up, okay? That lets him know, one, I will defend myself, and two, he's not going to get a hold of me that easy, all right? And most people, if he's an attacker, sometimes that'll discourage them enough to just go find somebody else, okay? If he reaches up with both hands, I want to make sure I get my hands up over his, on top of his. I always like to keep my hands, if he reaches to grab me, I always want to keep my hands on top, okay? Because then I maintain this, I can strike. Now if I go into grappling, obviously we're going to look at getting an underhook, but we don't want to go get on that ground unless we absolutely have to, okay? So if he reaches in to grab me, I want to keep my hands on top of his so I can strike, then if I want to go low, I'm going to kick my feet, my legs down, because that's down low, okay? So let's say I was asleep or something, and he did get a hold of me in a single collar grab. Let's say with one hand. So he reaches me with the right hand, he grabs right here, and he got a hold of me. And now I'm stuck because let's say he's not that big of a guy, but let's pretend he's 290 pounds and he's got this huge, strong grip here, and I'm stuck here. Okay. Now, one good thing is he's not going to hit me with that hand. The bad thing is he's about to hit me with that one. Okay. So what I have to do is get out of this as quick as possible, or escape so that he don't punch me with that fist. I'm sure everybody, when you're in high school, you saw this happen to somebody on the hall. Somebody went up and grabbed him, draw back, and whack. And that's not where you want to be, okay? So if he does get a hold of me and you know, I failed to maintain my integrity, my safety zone. He got to this point, he grabbed a hold of my wrist. What do? Well, obviously, if he's a dangerous threat and we feel threatened, and our life's at stake, then we got to get pretty serious about it. All right. So let's do this. Obviously, you could gouge eyes out. You could strike throat, neck, groin, kneecaps. There's a lot of options here to really injure this guy enough where he's not going to hurt me. Okay. There's two types of things you need to think about when it comes to personal safety. One is injury, and two is hurt. If I hurt him, yeah, in 30 minutes he'll be okay. All right. If I injure him, he's got to go see a doctor to get put back together. Okay. I know I used to kickbox, obviously, and I got injured some. I had to go to the doctor to fix my nose and fix my eye and to fix this, fix that. But if I got hurt, I'm just sore and banged up for a few days. I was okay. You know, that's the way it is. So if you're in a serious situation, your life's at stake, you want to injure this guy as quick as possible. All right. Now we're in class. We're learning wrist manipulation, joint locks. Let's go over a couple of these just because they're cool and they're fun. Okay. All right. He gets a hold of my wrist. Go ahead and grab again. He gets a hold of my collar. I got two joints I can primarily work with. Shoulder. I'm not going to do a lot with the shoulder because it's extended, but it leaves him vulnerable. So what I want to do first is a softening blow. Okay. Softening blow is anything that I do to take his mind off his grip. All right. Many times a softening blow is all I need to even let go of me. So in this case, if I was going to do a softening blow, I go ahead and lock onto this so he can't get loose now. I have him now. And palm strike to the chin area. Okay? So whack, straight up there. And what that's going to do is cause his head to fly back, he's probably going to let go. Let's say he doesn't. Okay? Then I can go into a wrist manipulation. Let's go with a simple one. The easiest is a downward wrist flex. So grab, palm strike, low kick, whichever softening blow you want to do. You can do the old palm strike to the belly. You can do a finger flick. I know Mr. Joe Lewis, you said a finger flick is the fastest technique in the world, because you just flick somebody in the eye, just like so, and that would cause him to flinch or blink and may cause a little pain. But let's do our downward wrist flex. So we lock on, strike. I'm going to take the opposite hand, or the opposite side of the hand that he grabs. So he grabbed my right with his right hand. I'm going to take my right hand, reach over the top, put my thumb right here in the back of his wrist. Not wrist, the back of his hand. So the back of his palm. I'm going to grab hold of the whole thing. Now, you got to realize, in a dangerous situation, or if I was really trying to do this on somebody, once I palm struck him, once I did that, he's going to loosen his grip. He's a big muscle guy. He's going to try to hold on, but once I strike him in the chin, he goes whack, he's going to loosen up. So I lock here. I rotate this over like so. I put my other hand with it. Now both my middle fingers are lapped over the base of his wrist where it folds. My two thumbs are on the back of his hand. Now what I'm going to do once I've turned it over is I'm going to step back a little and put pressure here. Okay? Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm pushing his middle finger toward his ear. Just like this. Okay? Now in this position, if you're doing this with a partner, make sure they know to tap when you get a lot of pressure on this wrist. He's got a very flexible wrist, so it's not hurting him really bad. I'm not putting a lot of pressure here. But if you got a person with a real inflexible wrist, you can hurt him pretty quick, because you're stretching this out right in here. These tendons right here on the top of the arm are stretching around. You can feel it, yeah. All right, so from here, I put the pressure here. Now obviously I can kick. I can go ahead and break. I can step in this way and break your elbow. I can push it all the way down and drag him to the floor. There's a lot of options here, okay? So let's watch again. He's going to grab his left hand this time on this side. Now, remember, first thing, softening blow. Obviously, never let him get you here, but if he does, here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab, softening blow up under the chin, maybe a softening blow low kick, maybe a front kick to the kneecap, eye gouge, poke the eyeball out. There's a lot of options here. Take the opposite hand, opposite side. So he grabbed me the left. I'm going to take my left side. Reach over, put my thumb in the back of his hand, twist it over, put my other hand with it. Now from here, I'm going to push his middle finger toward his earlobe, and I'm going to push down this way, okay? Now I have pressure here. I'm kind of extended out away from him. Now obviously there is a counter to this. If he starts to do that, then I'll have to know what to do, which we'll get to that later. I'm just getting you to this point, okay? So now, here we are. This is our downward wrist flex, okay? All right. So, grab either side of work, Lock, strike, grab, thumb in the back of his hand, rotate this around, and push down. Okay? That's your downward wrist flex. Now, if you're doing this at home with your wife, be very careful. Ladies generally have very small wrists, and they're a lot more fragile. So be careful, don't hurt anyone. All right? Remember, when I start to put pressure on him, if I'm starting to make it very uncomfortable, he needs to learn to tap, or tap me, or tap the floor, or tap something, so I know not to put too much pressure on him. All right? So that's the downward wrist flex. Let's do this. Let's go back to something a little more striking oriented. Let's say he tries to reach up and do a double collar grab, one of these mad fury rage. He grabs me and starts shaking. Remember, we talked about not letting him get a hold of me like that. So what I'm going to do when he reaches up to grab, when he starts to grab my collar, what I'm going to do before he gets there, let go about a second so we can demonstrate. Before he gets to the grab, I'm going to put one hand on top, one hand on bottom, split it, just like this. Okay? So this pushes down, this pushes up. We call this the Terminator. It's a lot of fun. This one's closed up here. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to slide it down his arm and strike him right below the earlobe. Okay? If you take your finger right below your earlobe, push in and up, that hurts. That's the pressure point, and it hurts. So that's where we're hitting, okay? It'll actually cause you to go unconscious if you strike it really hard. So as he grabs, go ahead and grab hold of my shirt. I split it here. Okay, you see I let him get a hold, it's a little hard to get loose, so grab it again. So he starts with, boom, I split it, I split my stance, strike to the base of the ear, right below the earlobe. Now, take it, once it's struck him here, I'm going to bring it back to my chest, strike him up into the groin. Okay, so it's 2 moves there. See this hand right here? It's already ready. I'm just going to take it, strike to the forehead. Okay, I'm going to strike to the forehead because I don't want him to bleed all over me. Okay, if I strike him in the nose, he's going to start bleeding and we'll have a mess. Technically, I don't want to stand here and struggle with him, so hopefully I won't have to. But if I do have to struggle with him, I don't want him bleeding all over me. Makes him so slick I can't hold on to him, right? All right, now, let's watch this again. Mr. Joe Lewis, I know he used to, like, when he was on the ground grappling or something, if you were tapping out with Mr. Lewis, you'd be tapping and he'd keep on cranking, and you'd say, I'm tapping, and he'd say, I thought you was fighting back, but anyway, he was a lot of fun. All right, so he grabs, break, strike with a hammer fist to the base of the ear, right where the earlobe is, bring it back to your chest, come up into the groin, take this one, palm strike to the head. Now, take this hand here, punch to the belly, grab across, knee strike. Now, obviously, I can grab his head, I can grab here, I can do either one, okay? So that's the Terminator, that's another, all right? Now, let's move on to another wrist manipulation here. Let's say he grabs the right hand, please. He grabs my collar, I was asleep, he's got me. I'm going to hold on to it, softening blow, whatever I want to do. Now, what I'm going to do now, especially if he's not a huge guy, with a real big guy, this is harder to do. But it can be done. You just have to do a good softening blow, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab his whole hand, and I'm going to rotate it just like we did earlier. But when I get about halfway, I'm going to push this, and I'm going to pop his elbow this way to make a Z. Now what I have here is I have a Z, the letter Z. It goes here, here, and here. Now, his elbow's here, this is here. I can put pressure here and hold it. And then I'm going to take his pinky right here. I'm going to push his pinky up toward the ceiling like so. Okay? Now, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it because this hurts. And if you did it right, it'll hurt. So I push this way and this way. Okay? All right. Remember how to tap? Okay. All right. Now, so watch again. He's got a hold of me. Okay? Boom. Grab the whole thing. Turn it. Bend it to a Z. And here I am. Now I've got, this is parallel to the floor. I've got his wrist bent this way. And now I'm going to take his pinky and push it toward the ceiling, just like so. Bang. And what's going to happen when I start cranking this here, okay, I can step back or I can stand here and crank down. It's going to pop his wrist. And it doesn't take all that much, so you have to be very careful with that, okay? Let me show you with him grabbing the other side, okay? So he grabs left-handed. All right, first thing, softening blow. Bam! Groin chop. Reach over, grab the whole hand, bend this way. Now once I get here, I Z it out. See this Z? I make a Z. Now, that's bent in. Pinky, push up toward the ceiling. So the pressure you are applying is you're twisting his hand this way while keeping it bent in this way, while holding it stable with your hand on his elbow here. So everything's pinched together and you just turn up. Okay? Got it? Everything's doing that. So we Z that out. Okay, we Z it out. Z the arm out. Grab again. So softening blow, Z the arm out here. I got a hold of the whole thing and pressure this way. So this is just holding it. I don't have to do that. I don't have to grab this hand. I can just push this way. Okay? So that's another one. Let's go to outward wrist flex. Okay? Let's say he grabs a hold. Grab left hand, please. He grabs a hold of me again. Here I am. Softening blow first. Bam, whatever it is. Now, instead of going inside like this, we're going to take his hand. We're going to take the same side. He's grabbing me with this left hand, so I'm going to take my right hand on the outside. Outside it is. I'm going to grab thumb in the middle, rotate it out. Now right here, I'll put my other thumb there. I'm going to push it out, just like so. Okay. Now this you can turn into more of a fall. You know, once we get him over here, we can step in, put this here like Soto guard, and pull him down. We can just snap his wrist right off, just like that. So we got our downward wrist flex. We did that earlier. We got our Z. We got our terminator. We did. And now we have our outward wrist flex. So we do it with this side over here. So he grabs over here, watch. Palm strike, low kick, whatever, whichever one it is. Grab hold, turn this out. I know a lot of systems just say lay this right here and push, and that'll work. But I like to get a hold of it so I can step with it. Okay, and what that's going to do is put him off balance, and like I say, we can take him down or we can pop that wrist right there. Okay. All right, so that's what, 3 or 4 of them right there. We had the downward wrist flex, we had the Z, we had the terminator, and we had the outward wrist flex there. Okay. Now let's go to another one. Let's go to the double collar grab. Okay. We always talk. I told you we was going to do collar grabs. Somebody grabs hold of your collar. Let's do that again. You know, the terminator's the first one. Let's say he gets a hold of me. Now let's get real simple. He's got a hold of me. I got to get loose. Okay. First thing I do is a softening blow. And the great thing about this, he's not going to punch me, because he's got both hands there, okay? But he's going to shake me and try to put me on the ground. So I want to get loose as quick as possible. So I would recommend maybe a front kick to the kneecap, low kick to the groin, take an outside hand, left or right, reach over the top, snake it through, push it right here, and push away. Okay, grab hold again, please, double collar grab, softening blow, bing, straight to the kneecap, over the top, under the bottom, right here. Now I've got a hold of, I've got this wedged in here, and I push to the outside. That gives me some leeway to get away. Does that make sense? Okay? It's very simple. It's super simplistic, but I want you to be able to just think about simple stuff that you can get loose with, all right? Watch again. He gets a hold of me, okay? Softening blow. I can do a finger flick to the belly. He goes, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. If he's not a foe, if he's a friend and not a foe, you can do that and Z out and do this. It doesn't hurt anybody. Okay? So grab again. So strike over the top, under the bottom, hands together in a praying position, and push. If you're in a real bad position, hopefully you do pray a little bit about that. All right? Now, so that's our Z. That's our escape from the double collar grab. We just snake it over. We call it snake it over. Push it like this. Okay? You could also, let's say he gets a hold of. Let's say he grabs with one arm. Let's do something. We go back to a striking system. Grab left hand, please. He grabs my collar in one hand. Now, I want to get loose, but I don't want to do none of this fancy wrist stuff. Okay? I don't want to get into that. You could just hold on to this and pop that arm really hard. You cause a lot of pain there. You might be able to break this elbow here. You could do that. Just hold that where it won't move, and then wham, you sit down and bam, break that elbow. Another way to get loose without hurting him is if I don't want to do a softening blow, I can probably get away with not doing one of this. Pull this hand over the top. Okay, he's waving at him. Grab hold of it like so. Step and drop down. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is I'm dropping it kind of like a kibidachi, pulling it down so that he's let go now. Now I got some space so I can strike whatever I want to do, but I've made him let go of me. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's say he grabs this side over here. It's just real simple. I like the simple stuff that works, because when you're in a bad situation, you go brain dead a lot of times, so you don't know what to do. So I want something very simple that comes natural that you don't have to think about. So here he is, pop, straight up there. I reach over top, right slow, grab my hand, boom, drop down, and now take off. I can take off running if I want to, okay? That's the reason I started karate, because I don't run fast, all right? So let's say he grabs again this side, softening blow, bing, over the top, bam, break down just so. That makes sense? Very simple, okay? Collar grab. Now, let's say he gets double collar grab again, please, okay? Now, I would not recommend trying to do this, because you're going to beat yourself to death, and he's going to get mad, everybody's going to get mad, it's not going to work, okay? If you're going to do something like, breaking it, I'd recommend coming over to the top like I did a while ago and just doing both, okay? But you still got to provide a softening blow. If a big guy's got you like this, you can reach up and grab both ears and drive your thumbs through his eyeballs. Works out really good. You can take up and reach in here and grab the old jugular and just start pinching, which causes problems. You can reach up here, grab his ear. There's a way actually you can rip his ear right off, but we won't do that. We can front kick to the kneecap. We can softening blow. We can finger flick. All kind of stuff we can do here, okay? Number one rule, though, don't let anybody grab you, okay? That's what you got to do, all right? Now, so let's go back with you a little bit. Let go with this hand, grab with your right hand. All right, wrist flex. We go this way. One, okay? He grabs again, bing, Z, and this way, okay? Other way, he grabs again, strike, out this way, okay? Double collar grab, oh, terminate, bing, 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 just like so. Single handed grab, please. He grabs again. I do my softening blow, reach over, break. Grabs this side, softening blow, reach over, break, okay? That's an option. Double collar grab the snake, okay? Softening blow, whack, over the top, snake across. There's another variation. If some guy comes up and tries to choke, somebody comes up and tries to choke you. This is the wife beater choke. All right, so he grabs a hold of me. Like this. This is a stupid way to choke somebody. Put your hand up and turn like so, okay? Just walk away, okay? So that's an option there. So there's a lot of things to do. But the number one about being defensive is having that defensive mindset. Now, our wrist manipulations, I know Shifu Derek Crowley showed me a sequence one time. Let me show you the sequence. I'm just going to share it with you. I'm going to give you credit for it because, like I say, Shifu Crowley, Derek Crowley is his name. He runs a school in Asheville, North Carolina. It's called White Oak Martial Arts Academy. He runs a great school. And let me show you the sequence he shared with me. These wrist manipulations, we've learned them. I've known them for years in different sequences, but let me show you a sequence that he does so he can practice them. Let's say he right collar grabs me, okay? We're just going to go through the sequence here, okay? The first thing we do, well, we don't do our softening blow. We don't have to do that. But we go to our downward, okay? We go to the outward, okay? We go to another variation of the downward, one of these, okay? Roll it over again and go back to this. Then we're going to pull it into here, this way. Turn this way so you can see. Now what I've got here is one of these bouncer walks. Now what I mean by bouncer walk is you get the drunk guy and you hold him like this and you just pinch this in really tight and you say, come go with me. And he'll walk with you because you're going to start cracking this wrist, pulling it in tight. And then you take it from here back to here. And this is where you're bending the wrist up into the armpit, okay? And you're causing that pain right there. So that's just a little variation that Shifu Crowley showed me one time, and I thought it was kind of cool how he sequenced them all together, okay? So let me show you one more time. So if somebody starts, you can start either outward this way, you go this one this way, then you go this one this way, then you go this one this way, step in, and then like I say, once I got him here, and he's locked in, I can push it up this way, okay? So that's several variations. Right here, sir? Very good. If you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and step off if you like, Stephen. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to email me at kevinhurricanehudson@gmail.com. kevinhurricanehudson@gmail.com. Okay? And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. I know we had somebody hack into the site and messed up a lot of things for a lot of people, and I apologize for that. I think we're about to get back on track. I had a couple people email me today, said they lost passwords and stuff via this mess up here, whoever's hacking. So hopefully we got it all straight, and I want you to stick with me and let's get that black belt. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. KevinHurricaneHudson@gmail.com. Okay? Hey, listen, thank you for coming tonight. If you have any questions about those wrist escapes or wrist grabs, I know you got to have a partner to do them. And I know this course, if we're doing it online, you may not have a partner. But I just wanted to share these with you because for some reason, I've been getting a lot of people say, hey, what do you do if I grab you? What do I do if I do this? There's all kind of options, okay? But the number one rule is maintain that personal safety zone and don't let anybody get a hold of you, okay? All right, thank you very much for your time. Listen, enjoyed having you in class, and I'll see you next week live, and we'll put this in our archived lesson so you can watch it, and we look forward to seeing you with that black belt right around your waist. Thank you. Whoosh. Have a great night.